Okay, welcome back everyone to Reality TV. I'm your co-host John. With me, as always, I have Taryn.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about the first season of Survivor.
Woo-woo.
Yes, such a great show. It was probably one of the first shows that we really kind of started to talk about with each other.
Yeah.
Which, in the way is kind of the whole, first idea for this kind of talk show YouTube channel. So, perfect. As we kind of get into the first season, we're going to split it up into 2 episodes. So this episode will be covering episodes 1 through 6, also known as pre-merge. And then the next episode will be talking about after the merge and kind of the last little bit of the season and the winner of the first season. We're going to be starting off by kind of doing our initial feelings towards the cast. There's 16 of them, so, bear with us as we kind of just briefly chat about each of them and kind of our first impressions that we kind of thought of after the first episode. Both Taryn and I already know who won this season because she's already seen this season, and I just know a lot of Survivor winners. But we kind of treated it as almost like, we hadn't seen it before, so we tried to put aside our assumptions as far as like who we knew won, who we knew, was eliminated early and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, first person we're going to start with is Sean. I thought Sean was unmemorable. I didn't think much of him, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I kind of thought that he seemed super genuine and super nice in the beginning. Personally, I thought he was actually going to win the whole thing. Just again, off that first kind of episode, I just assumed that maybe he, had the personality and the charm to make it all the way. So that was just kind of my initial reactions with him. Next up is Joel. For me, it kind of seemed like he wanted to be the leader at camp.
Yeah.
However, he didn't want to do anything, so he just wanted to be in charge, but tell everyone else what to do. That was my initial kind of reaction with him.
Yeah, also, again, Joel, kind of unmemorable for me. Didn't really think much. I kind of forgot he was there until they showed him again, and I was like, oh, that guy.
I could see that.
Yeah. So the next person we're going to talk about is Stacy. To me, Stacy, she was there. She was just another body. I feel like she didn't really do much in the first, couple days being at camp when everyone's supposed to be working. I feel like she just didn't. So.
Yeah, that's same with me. Mm-hmm. Stacy for me was very unmemorable. And half the time throughout the season, I was watching and I kind of forgot that she was a castmate for a lot of the episodes.
Yeah.
So sorry about that, Stacy, but you just were a little unmemorable.
Like she's watching this.
Yes. Next up, we will talk about Susan. Oh my gosh, I loved Susan. Susan was so much fun. Her little, comments, her little interviews, kind of having that almost little redneck kind of country vibe. 100%. I loved her from the very beginning. She was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I think she had a really good attitude about being there. She was there. She was ready to work. She was ready to do anything she could to help the tribe be comfortable. And I think she had she came in with a really good attitude, and she was really hardworking, as I said. So yeah, I liked her in the beginning too.
Yeah.
Next person is gonna be Jenna. I thought Jenna also had a good attitude. Again, she was just kind of there, but I thought she had a good attitude. She put in the work. She was helping everybody put the shelter together, so I liked her in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, she was very unmemorable as well. I don't know. She didn't stick out to me whatsoever. And I'll bring that up a little bit more during the episode discussions. But again, sorry, Jenna, just a little unmemorable for me. Next up, we will talk about Greg. I loved him. I thought that he was a comedian of the group. I thought he was going to make it far just because, again, his personality is pretty fun. I have a lot of notes to talk about him towards kind of the middle of the season, but he was great. I thought he was a great character and castmate from the beginning.
Yeah, same. I thought he was the funny guy. He kind of brought the comedic relief to the group. When things got serious, he was there to be happy and make things lighthearted. And I thought that Greg was gonna win just because of his attitude. He was very social with everybody, so I figured everyone was gonna like him enough, and that would end up giving him the win. So that was my prediction on who would win.
Yeah.
Next person we're gonna talk about is Jervis. I didn't have many opinions about Jervis. I just thought he was funny. He was there, again, as another body. But he was also lazy. Didn't do much. So
Yeah. My opinion of Jervis, in the beginning, he was very unmemorable. And then, like, towards the end of the first episode, and then the episodes, like, after, I got really annoyed with him. So I did not particularly like him. That's probably just, again, my opinion, but just unmemorable and annoying towards the end. Next up, we're going to talk about Gretchen. For me, Gretchen was unmemorable.
Same. That's all I have. Unmemorable.
We're so sorry
for you, Gretchen.
But, yeah, just...
Unmemorable.
Can't really say anything else than that.
No.
Cool. Moving on.
Next, we're going to talk about Richard. Completely opposite of unmemorable. Mm-hmm. He was very cocky, very strong personality, already, like, ruffling some feathers. Like, he was just... He had a really big head. That's like all I thought about him.
Yep, my notes were full of himself. You know, he came in with this idea that he was gonna, like, you know, be the leader and everything, and then he, like, is just like, well, if we're not gonna talk about it, then why are we all doing stuff? And he was just sitting up in the tree, not really helping, and waiting for everyone to come back to him when they were all starting work. But you know, I agree. I think he was just very full of himself.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up, we're gonna talk about Colleen. For me, she was unmemorable. Kind of guessed it. Yeah. A lot of these people were a little unmemorable for me in the beginning.
Yeah.
Some of them do continue throughout the season as being a little unmemorable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me and Colleen, don't really have much else to say besides that.
Yeah, I thought, oh, she seems like a sweet girl, but she seems boring. Like, that's all I had. I was like, okay, she's there. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, next one we're going to talk about is Sonia. I thought Sonia was very sweet, and I was honestly, like, worried about her well-being being on this show.
Yeah.
I was like, Sonia, maybe you shouldn't be on this show. Like, you know what you signed up for? I was afraid she was gonna, like, I don't know, get hurt or like not be able to make it, because she's an old lady. So I was worried about her, but I thought she was really sweet.
I love Sonia from the beginning. I didn't think she was gonna go far. I was right. But I really just loved her, and I mean, she's the, you know, a grandma that I would love to have.
Yeah.
You know, that's just basically what sums it up. Next up, we'll talk about Rudy. For my initial thoughts for him is that he seems like a very sweet old guy, you know, someone that you wouldn't mind chatting to for a little bit on, like, you know, the bus or something like that. That's just kind of what I thought. He seemed pretty sweet in the beginning.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty, like, strict, but, like, nice. I thought he was kind of, like, old-fashioned, you know, just, like, your typical, like, grandpa kind of guy. And I thought he was a really hard worker. He really took initiative and, like, got things going, which I thought was really good. And he was, you know, ex-Marine, right? So he knew what he was doing. So that's what I thought about him. Next is Dirk. I thought he was unmemorable.
Yeah, kind of the same. I said he was very quiet, reserved, and a little too weird.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that more within the episode recaps. But yeah, that was just kind of my initial feeling of him. Next up, we'll talk about BB. And my initial thing is that he is a great worker. He, you know, really kind of got that shelter started. However, he was working a little too hard.
That's exactly what
I
thought.
His whole tribe was like, okay, you know, take a break.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, that's just not me. And I was like, well, you're going to need to take a break.
Yeah. Literally, my notes about him says, work too hard, take a break. Like, he was great, but, like, chill. You can chill.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Second to last person we're going to talk about is Ramona. Again, I was pretty worried about her because she came into the game and she was, like, sick all of a sudden and, like, wasn't feeling well the first few days. So I was like, that's not good. I don't know if she's going to make it very far in the game.
Yeah, I was very concerned for her because before they even made it to the island, she was kind of like passed out on the raft, just them trying to get to their island. And I was like, oh, honey, if you can even make it to the island, do you know what you signed up for? Because you're not going to have like food and all this gourmet stuff out there. Right. So I was very concerned, and I did not think she was going to make it as far as she did.
Yeah.
And then last but not least is Kelly. My initial thoughts are probably going to ruffle a lot of feathers online because I know that she's pretty, a fan favorite.
Yeah.
I thought she was actually a little annoying.
Same.
And that she thought that she knew the best way to do everything.
Same.
And that was just my personal opinion of her.
Yeah, normally, a lot of times with Survivor stuff, I disagree with John about, like, people, but this is one that I agree with. Like, Kelly just kind of came in and was like, I know everything, I got this, like, I am so comfortable in the water, whatever, blah, 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 like, I'm fine. And I was like, ugh, I don't like that kind of attitude. So
exactly.
That was kind of, I didn't like her.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was just kind of our initial reactions for the cast of 16 this season. Now we'll kind of briefly chat about each of the episodes. Again, this is just episodes 1 through 6, everything before the merge. Okay, we're going to begin by talking about episode 1. The first note that I have is that Survivor really needs to bring back their intro videos with everyone's names and telling what tribes there are and everything, because that is just...
It's helpful.
It's so helpful.
Yeah.
It's so fun to watch. The other intro ones where they don't have those are just like...
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just like, okay, hi, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, starting off this season, I love seasons where all of them start on a boat and they have, X amount of time to grab whatever they can, throw things in the water, that's just one of my favorite things. So seeing that as the first season, that just was like so exciting for me to see.
Yeah, I agree. They do that a couple more like times in other seasons, and they just get to like gather all the fruits and whatever that they can, and they need to jump off the big boat and sail to their camp, which was one of my first notes. I was kind of laughing at Ramona being like completely winded after just sailing to their beach, because I was like, that would be me. If I was on Survivor, that would 100% be me. Like, not even, like, pass out after you just sail to the beach.
I mean, they were sailing for a while. I said, like, 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah. And then they had to build a shelter after that?
Yeah. Oh.
Nope.
I would have been like, we're sleeping on the sand tonight.
Literally.
Yeah, and then, kind of starting off with the Toggy tribe, right whenever they got there, they, had just a couple of quick little talks, and then they all kind of started to go to work, and then Richard was just sitting in a tree being like, well, did we come up with the plan? Like, what are we doing?
Yep.
I, slightly agree with him a little bit on that, where, I don't feel like they had a cohesive plan, and people knew what each other were doing. I felt like it was more of like, oh, hey, me and you, let's go, do this. And then, 2 other people were like, oh, we're going to go do this on our own, but not, let everyone know.
Yeah.
So, I slightly agree with Richard. However, he should have said it more and not just sat back and just waited in the tree for everyone to kind of do stuff, and then for them to come up and be like, okay, well, now what do we do? And then Richard's like, well, can we all talk about it as a group? That should have happened first. He should have made the initiative.
Yeah, he was kind of just already causing problems, not even an hour into the game. And like John said, it's understandable. They should have had one big plan, but also he was just sitting in the tree, on his high horse, just barking orders at people, getting mad at people for not listening to him, when, there was a better way to approach that, so...
Yeah. And overall, I mean, I thought Toggy's, camp in the beginning was kind of, pretty well...
Yeah.
It was getting together, things were moving, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Pagong, on the other hand... I thought they were a little lacking with their shelter building. Especially because only BB on the tribe was actually building a shelter.
Yeah.
The other ones were just like, we're here.
We're on vacation.
Let's relax. And BB's like, okay, let's build this. Let's dig this. And, I was a little surprised that Pagong was a little slow with their shelter building.
Yeah, it's no wonder why BB thought he couldn't take a break, was because, the rest of his tribe literally wasn't doing anything. Right. So he was like, if I don't do it, no one's going to do it. Nothing's going to get done. So I understand where that was coming from. But like we said in the first impressions, BB needed to take a little break, Yeah. So going into, the very first challenge of Survivor, I thought... after watching, current seasons and stuff, the very first challenge of the first season was, so simple.
Yes.
So simple.
I literally was sitting there, I was like, there's no way that this is the only thing to do for the challenge. Right, yeah.
There's
just no way.
This is just stage 1.
They're just lighting, little torches.
Yes, that's all they did.
And that's it.
That was all, it was like a race.
Yeah. It was... I was very surprised by that. Yeah. Which... I mean, looking back at it now, yes, it kind of makes sense because it was the first season.
Right.
But, like, watching it now after how many years, and you're like, this was a challenge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, okay.
But we did get to see baby Jeff.
Yes!
Oh my gosh.
Jeff
he looks
Probst.
so different,
King.
you know, years ago compared to now.
He was
like,
so young.
100% like
So
a baby.
young.
And
I mean,
now,
yeah, it was like,
you
what,
know,
20 plus years ago?
I think so.
He was
Something like
so
that.
young. So young.
Yeah, that first challenge was very interesting.
Yeah, and that was was it reward and immunity or just immunity?
I think it was just immunity.
Yeah,
I don't think they had a reward
That's
because
right,
that
no,
was
I
the
don't
first
think so.
episode where
Yeah.
they, like, you know, got to take stuff from the belt.
Right.
But
Yeah. Going into tribal council, if you have nothing else to say about the challenge. The very first tribal council, I kind of laughed at Jeff being like, okay, the tribes need to take a dangerous hike into tribal council. I was like, that's not what they do now. Like, there's no dangerous hike in the tribal council.
It all begins with a dangerous hike through the jungle.
But I thought it was like, it's kind of like a fun added like thing because tribal council is like not where you want to be. So like having a dangerous hike into tribal council like makes sense. You know, like you don't want to be there. You have to like make this trek, and it like I don't know. I kind of like it. I thought it was like a fun little added thing into that.
Yeah. I kind of thought tribal council for this first episode was kind of slow and quick.
It was very quick, yeah.
You know, compared to nowadays tribal council where, you know, Jeff is asking 20 plus questions about the game and everything. This one was just almost like, okay, welcome to tribal council. How do you guys feel? Okay, now let's go vote.
Yeah. It like, again, because it was the first season, so that's probably why it was like that. But I agree, it was short, sweet, like to the point, you know. Someone get voted out, and the person that ended up getting voted out was Sonia. Which is who we loved.
Yes, we love Sonia, but honestly, I think that might have been the right vote.
Probably better for her, too, for her health.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, moving into episode 2. My first note about episode 2 was, why was the water well so far from their camp?
Right?
Why was it so far?
Yeah, I have no idea why that was so far away, but it was just super far away. Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, maybe it is on current seasons.
Yeah, but
it doesn't seem like it. It seems like it's, you know, maybe 5-6 minutes away at max.
Yeah, but they like really needed to like.
They were looking for it for like an hour.
Yes, they couldn't find it. Like, why are they gonna make the water so far
hard?
From their camp? Like, they need water.
Yeah.
But also, we don't know. We don't know what goes on.
Exactly. We don't know the full details.
Right.
But
yeah.
And then my other, like, kind of initial of the start of the second episode is just BB was almost making the camp, like, luxury for Pagong over there. Like, he made chopsticks and all that. And I was just like, why do you need you're in Survivor. Yeah. Just eat with your hands, like, you know. But he, like, you know, was like, oh, I'm going to make these chopsticks for everyone. Like, you know, don't break them because I'm going to have to make another pair. And I was just like, wow, like, you are really just going at it, BB. Like, you do you.
Again, needed to take a break. He needed to take a break. And episode 2 is where he kind of was, like, ruffling some feathers about the other people in the tribe. Yep. He was working really, really hard, like we said. He really needed to take a break. And also, the one thing that I was like, BB, why would you do that? Was when he washed his clothes in their fresh water.
Why?
Just go into the ocean.
Like, you just walked how far to get that fresh water?
Yeah, to drink.
Like, and you just wasted it on your clothes, which your clothes are going to be dirty.
Right.
Salt water is probably better for them.
Exactly. That was the one thing that I was like, BB. Why?
Yeah, that was just surprising to me. And then coming back again with Ramona, I just was like, do you know what you signed up for? Because apparently she said that she couldn't eat the rice.
Yeah, she was like throwing up everything she was eating.
And she was just like, everything. Oh, like everyone else can eat the rice. Like I don't eat rice. It's not going to sit well for me. And I was like, that's the one thing that you get.
Yeah.
Is rice.
Yeah.
So if you can't even eat rice,
you're done.
How are you going to survive?
Yeah, exactly. Probably not a good thing.
No. But so moving on into kind of the challenge. That was the food challenge where they had to eat a bug.
Yeah, no.
I
can't do that.
Like, personally, yes, it would be gross. However, like, I was just thinking, like, come on, Gervais. Like, it's a bug. Everyone else is eating them. Yeah. And also, like, they're not going to feed you something that's going to, like, kill you.
Right. That's
so true. You're playing for $1 million. eat the bug.
Yeah.
Like, it took him way too long for him to finally get the courage to eat that bug. Like, I just, I probably would have been 10, 15 seconds for me to have been like, okay, I'm about to do it, and then just eat it. But, like, it took him, like, minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I don't think I'd be able to do the eating challenges, like, but also...
So, Taryn would have lost the immunity challenge for her tribe.
But also, like, in those conditions, maybe I would have. Because, like, also, you're getting food, you know?
Yeah.
If you're starving and you're doing this challenge for a win, like, maybe I would. But watching it from home, no, there's no way. There's no way I'd be able to do that. No. So, I kind of understand, but...
Yeah, I was surprised because, like, it's been a while since we've seen an eating challenge.
Yeah, I don't think they do those anymore.
So, it was really cool to see, but yeah, it's been a while since that.
Yeah.
I am glad that, over there, Pagong ended up losing because Gervais, again, just ate the bugs a little too slow.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of happy with that because, in my mind, I thought that they were going to send Ramona home.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought so too, because she was literally, like, deteriorating. Like,
yes.
She's,
and so I was like, the second that I saw that they lost, I was like, goodbye, Ramona.
Yeah, she's done.
She's done. She's gone. But Tribal Council comes.
Yeah.
And that was not the case.
She didn't get voted off. Instead, BB got voted off, which I was like, okay, I guess he's, like, annoying people, but also, like, nothing's going to get done around camp now. Because he was the hardest worker there. So it just didn't make sense to me why they would get rid of him. Because he did everything around camp. So. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think that was the proper vote. I personally would have voted out Ramona. But, again, time will tell if that was a good choice for them.
Yeah, exactly. So going into episode 3, my first note on episode 3 was about the rays that they were, like, going out and catching. Rays creep me out. I don't know why. When they were fishing for it, like, spearing it or whatever. I don't know. I know I would eat it because I would be hungry. But I don't know, just, like, looking at them, kind of creepy. But also, you're desperate, so...
Yeah, I will say the food on this season that they catch... I was not expecting. I was not expecting everyone to be perfectly fine with eating rats.
Yes, no, absolutely not. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do that.
I thought they were joking whenever they're like, oh, like, I want some, like, rat soup, and, and I was like, oh, okay, very funny, but I didn't realize that they legit actually had rat traps.
They ate rats.
And they were killing them and eating them.
Yeah, nope.
That's the thing that I don't know if I could eat.
Even if I'm starving, I don't know if I could eat a rat.
Yeah.
I don't know, I really don't know if I could do it. Something else was about Stacy. Stacy was talking about Rudy, and she was saying that their tribe would be stronger without him. And I was like, I don't think that's right. I think, how does that make sense, Stacy?
Yeah.
Like, Rudy's a hard worker, and Stacy wasn't. Stacy, like, didn't
Again, Stacy is just so unmemorable.
It's like, who? Who's Stacy? Stacy who?
Taryn's, like, telling me Stacy, and, like, we're gonna need to edit in a photo of her face, because I can't even tell you what she looks like.
Criticizes whatever we're doing. He's hurting morale.
That's fair. Yeah,
Sorry.
Like, unmemorable. But she was talking a lot of crap about Rudy, and, like, how she was like, we'd be a lot stronger without Rudy, and I was like, no, you wouldn't.
No.
They'd be stronger without you. So, that was annoying to me.
And then we got the mud volcano.
Yeah.
Which I thought that looked really fun.
It did.
Like,
it really did.
I don't know.
Spa day.
Yeah, exactly. Like where the mud came from or anything. But I'm really glad that they decided to share it with the whole tribe and make it like, a fun thing for the whole tribe. Because again, like, they could have kept that secret and just done their own little thing and, had fun. But it was really kind of like a good tribe bonding moment for them. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
So, yeah. So next up was the reward challenge. That's the one where they had to swim out to a raft and then dive underwater and drag a sunken treasure chest full of fishing supplies back to the shore. I thought it was a little anticlimactic at the end because whenever the winners won, like everyone was just like, okay,
cool.
Like Jeff wasn't like, and the winners are like, oh, they won. It was just kind of like
how he does it these days.
Okay,
Yeah.
They won, and, moving on.
Yeah, so. But it's a pretty big reward. Like, they should have been excited. That was the first reward challenge. They got fishing supplies. Gear. Like,
they literally needed that to catch the stingrays and manta rays.
Exactly. So, probably should have been more excited about that, but...
And then moving back to the tribes after, one thing that I put on my notes is that Sean just needs to stop with his super pole. Like,
It's not working.
he's not going to catch any fish. Richard was already going out with the fishing supplies and catching all those rays.
Yeah,
And
right.
Sean was just still trying for days on end, just
Yeah.
wasting the day going out there fishing for literally nothing.
Yeah, I think he felt threatened by Richard. He was like, Richard's catching all this stuff for our tribe and I'm not. Like,
Yeah.
I need to keep trying, but like,
100%.
just give up.
Yeah.
Just stop. Just no one.
It was a good idea, but not executed. So
Yeah. Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah.
Next up for the immunity challenge, this was such a cool challenge
Mm-hmm.
because they actually had to create a stretcher before they could even get to the challenge.
Yeah.
And that was something that I haven't seen before, where they had to create something before they,
Yeah.
actually use it in, the competition. So if
Yeah.
anything, it could also be seen as even more fair
Mm-hmm.
because of the fact of the tribes built their things themselves.
Yeah,
So
off
if
the
your,
land.
if your stretcher wasn't good enough, then that's on you.
Then you're done.
You can't blame production for a
Right.
faulty stretcher,
Right,
or if one
that's
of the
true.
stretchers break and the other one doesn't. Like,
Yep.
no, that's on you.
Yeah, that's probably why they did that, honestly.
Yeah.
And they had to like use whatever was there, like whatever was on land. They had
Mm-hmm.
to like use bamboo and like leaves
And
stuff.
Pagong's
Yeah.
stretcher, oh my god.
Yeah.
They were like doing flips with
Yeah.
her. They're like, okay, let's spin it upside down. Oh,
Yeah.
she can be held upside down, above her head, side. She
Yeah.
would like,
It was
their
good.
stretcher was probably one that like, I would want if I was ever in like a car crash or something. I'd be like, give me Pagong's stretcher, please, and thank you.
I don't need this one from you guys. From the
Yeah,
hospital.
I don't need
No
the normal one.
thanks. Yeah, but yeah, that was a cool little challenge. I like when they do that, like when they do stuff at their camp and bring it to a challenge. I thought that was cool. And so going into tribal council for this episode,
For
the person who ended up for Toggy, Stacy ended up getting voted off, which I was like, okay, bye, Stacy. See ya.
Yep,
That's what
yep.
happens when you want to talk crap about the rest of your tribe.
Yeah, I said, bye, Stacy. See you, probably never.
Never. Bye.
It just, again, kind of unmemorable. Didn't really contribute much. So,
Yeah. So, see ya.
bye.
See ya, wouldn't want to be.
That's all for Stacy. Moving on to episode 4. The first thing that I put that I just laughed so much was the coconut phone. That was just so great.
Yeah.
I loved how he was just talking into it and just, treating it like an actual phone. I was just telling Taryn that while I was watching this episode, I was kind of finishing up dinner and I missed the first part of it actually being a coconut. And at first, I just overheard and I thought he was actually using a cell phone. And I was
Yeah.
like, they have phones on Survivor now? Like, what? So I had to, rewind it and found out that it was just, a coconut phone. But that was just great.
Yeah, again, like I said, Greg was, like, the comedic relief of his tribe, and so him talking on his pretend coconut phone was, like, totally made sense for him.
Right.
He was funny, and I feel like if I was on his tribe, I would have a better time, just because he was so
he
funny,
was just fun.
He's just
Yeah,
funny,
just fun to be
lighthearted.
around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This was the reward challenge was when they did it at their beach.
Yes, with
right?
the SOS.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. So they
I
had to
loved this one.
This was one of my favorites because they had to basically make an SOS signal that Jeff would be able to see from a helicopter. And so that's what they did. All day they worked on their SOS signals. I thought it was a really cool challenge. It was fun and it wasn't super competitive, they could have fun with it.
Yeah.
It was they could be creative and I really liked it.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought Pagong's message was just very basic and not thought out, just a smiley face.
No one's gonna know it's an
how,
SOS.
Yeah, how is that an SOS
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
Smiley
face. We're great.
at least Toggy had a fun little rhyme. It was
Yeah.
Toggy is groggy or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, that's
and, same.
Yeah.
If I'm on Survivor now for,
I'm groggy.
upwards of 12 days,
Yeah.
I'd be groggy too.
Yeah. And it was smart of them to put on their bright yellow
Yeah,
raincoats.
yes, and move.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
that attracts the eye.
Yeah.
If you see movement, you're like, oh, what, where,
And it was synchronized movement. So
Yep.
they were all doing the same thing. That was more of an SOS than a smiley face.
Yeah,
like you
the smiley
said.
face for Pagong just what was not
what was that? What were you trying to accomplish there?
Yeah.
But yeah, that again, one of my favorite challenges.
Yeah. Then moving on to the immunity challenge. That was the relay one.
Yes.
Where they had like different things that they had to do. Like they had to run across a bridge. They had to go into kind of like the forest and everything.
Climb up a ladder.
Yeah. My thing that I put is like Jervis was just running and then just stopped.
Yes.
And I was like, you just started your run.
Yeah.
Like, you probably hadn't gone much farther than, like, a fourth of a mile.
Yeah.
And you're already gassed out. I mean, yes,
Done.
100%. I get it. You're on Survivor. You don't have enough food, all this other stuff. But, like, why would you volunteer yourself for that?
Right.
Because not everyone participated in this immunity challenge.
Right. He could have sat out.
So he could have just decided to sat out or choose one that wasn't that intense. You know, like, he could have dug or something. But
yeah.
No, I mean, I was very, like, okay, Jervis, like, you know, another thing to add to, you know, him being annoying to me. Yeah, why I don't like him is that he, in a way, just kind of quit the challenge.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that's so true. Something that I liked about this episode was that we, like, finally saw, like, gameplay happening. Like, alliances being made.
Finally.
And, like, you know, because, like, up until this episode, it was kind of just like, oh, yay, everybody loves everybody. It's so fun, whatever. But Richard was making alliances.
Yes.
He was getting work done. He was like, I need to make an alliance. I need to make sure I'm safe.
Yep.
So I'm going to pick these people that I like, and we're going to be in it together, and I'll vote the same person off.
Yep.
So that's
that was very good for Richard.
Yeah.
You know, another note that I put for this episode is that I legit forgot about Colleen and Jenna. They had some, like, conversations this episode, which was really cool to see.
Yeah.
But again, I kind of forgot that they were even, like, castmates until I saw their, like, one-on-ones, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're legit you know, a person again.
They're still here. Sorry,
that was my kind of notes for that in between, before Tribal Council. Which Pagong went to.
Yep.
And my notes for Tribal Council is that, damn, Jeff, you went in on Gervais. Whenever, he asked, like, is anyone feeling 100% safe? And Gervais wrongly was like, oh, I feel 100% safe. And then Jeff was like, really? Because the last 3 tribal, you know, competitions that you've had, you've been the reason why they've lost.
Yeah.
The last 3 challenges, you were somewhat responsible for your tribe's loss.
And I was like,
Savage.
Jeff.
Savage Jeff.
I mean, thank you, but, like, damn.
He doesn't do that anymore these
No,
days.
I wish he would.
I know.
He needs to, like, lower some of these Survivor people's heads.
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah.
They're getting a little too big.
Yeah, and the person that ended up getting voted off was Ramona.
No surprise.
No surprise.
No surprise there. Should have been sooner.
Yeah, like we said, we thought she was going to get voted off the episode before, but her tribe didn't go to Tribal Council, so
Yeah.
she didn't, but
now she's gone, so.
Yep. Which
Bye,
is
Ramona.
good. Go eat some food.
Yeah.
Please.
Moving on with episode 5. Kind of in the beginning about that, it was just funny that Pagong was talking about kind of like how shitty their camp was. And I was like, I wonder why.
Whose
Maybe
fault
it's
is that?
because BB was voted off when he was the only one that was actually doing stuff around your camp.
Yep.
So
Came back to bite him in the
no
butt.
big surprise there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Like, maybe someone should have taken over what he was doing. If you were going to vote him out, then someone had to take over all his jobs.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
come on, because he had, like, all the jobs around camp. So, like, what are you doing, guys? It's your own fault that your camp wasn't good.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that.
Yeah. And then another thing, too, that I thought, again, just with Dirk, because, again, we haven't mentioned him in a while.
No, yeah.
Is that, you know, yes, I understand that he's, like, very religious, but to, like, the one item that he decides to bring is, like, a Bible. Which I was like, okay, like, you know, you didn't want to bring, like, a knife or a machete or, you know, a bag or something, like a Bible, you know.
Yeah, back when they could have comfort items.
Yeah, it was very weird. And I was like, I mean, I get it. You know, I'm not, like, personally religious, but I know a lot of people are. But I thought that was just really weird. And so did some of the other castmates. They're like, that's just weird that, you know, he decided to bring a Bible. But to each their own.
I guess it brought him comfort.
Yeah.
It brings some people comfort, I get it.
You know.
But also this, on the Dirk note, I understand the being religious thing. Like, I'm a religious person. So if I was on Survivor, I'd probably need my prayer time too. Like, you know, I'm out there, I need to pray. But I don't think I would be like him, where he was like preaching to his tribe, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. Like, you know, because not everybody has the same beliefs as you.
Exactly.
So, like, you don't like, I guess it's cool. He was, like, just sharing
Yeah.
about, I don't know. There's a difference between, like, sharing
And
about, like,
there's just
yourself
kind of
and
like
your
a time and
religion.
place for it all.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. But, like, you don't need
Like,
to be,
in
like,
the middle
preaching.
of Survivor, maybe not.
Right, yeah. And, like, maybe if someone does want to be preached to, do it, like, individually.
Yeah,
You know? Like,
go up, because obviously everyone knew that, like, Dirk was very religious.
Right, they
So if they
knew,
wanted to
yeah.
talk about it, they could have
could've.
just gone up and be like, hey, let's go talk about it, you
yeah.
know, over
Can we
here.
have a conversation? Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't think that was the way that started. It almost felt like he just kind of came in and was like, by the way,
Yeah.
you know, preach. But,
yeah.
again, we don't like, fully know.
Mm-hmm.
But then we get to the reward challenge, which was the 3 competitions. They had the blow darts, they had the slingshot, and
The javelin?
yes, yeah, the javelin.
Did they call it the javelin?
Spear.
Spear. It was a spear, yeah.
Spear,
That's right.
yeah, that thing. Which, again, my first note for this was that I forgot Joel was a castaway. Because I forgot he existed.
Yeah.
Until it was, again, his time to do the whole javelin thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I
He
forgot
pulled
about
through.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did pull through. I was, rooting for Toggy
Yeah.
and not Pagong.
Yeah.
But, again, it was a reward challenge, so
Whatever.
You know,
not
it's
a big
fine.
deal, yeah. I would just remember watching and thinking, I don't think I'd be good at any of these. Like, even if I had time to practice, maybe I could be good at, like, the javelin one. But, like, the blow darts, they made it look so easy, but I feel like it's not that easy.
I
don't know.
100% do not think it's that easy.
No, but they were like, oh, I got this. Let me just practice
Yeah.
1 or 2 times, and
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, and
Like-
see, and another thing too that I noted with this is that as we've seen with some of these past competitions and what we'll see going forward too is that not everyone participates. Even even though they are even matched for like tribe numbers, so like someone doesn't need to sit out, they still only do one where like I think there was 5 people left on each tribe or 6, and they're like only 3 people compete per tribe,
Right.
and I was like, so not everyone. Okay.
Yeah, so not,
Interesting.
Which is very interesting. They don't really do that now unless the tribes are uneven. You know, then someone sits out. But again, different time. So
also too, like after the reward challenge, whenever like Toggy was talking about how like, oh, the other tribe was basically just handed food, and that like, oh yeah, they just got the food, and did they really earn it, and blah blah blah, because Toggy has been fishing for their food, and blah.
Right.
Yes,
they
bitch,
earned it.
They earned
They
it.
earned
Okay,
it.
if you're gonna get some free food on Survivor, I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna be like, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
thank you.
You put in the work, you get it. Like,
yeah,
you get the
exactly.
rewards. You work hard,
They
you
were
get
just
rewarded.
bitter losers,
Yeah.
and I was just like, whatever.
Whatever, yeah. Something that I noted about this episode that stood out to me was Richard playing with the snake. Like a freak. Like, it was okay. And he was literally like, oh yeah, if this snake bites me, like, I have 6 hours to live.
Yeah.
And he's just literally
And he's just
sitting there
tossing
playing with
it
it.
around,
Yes!
trying to toss it into the
Yes!
water, because he's like, I just want to see
I
it
want to see
swim.
it swim. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What?
I literally
You're
was
trying to
watching
die?
that, and I was like, this is another reason why I think Richard is a little weird, because
He's a freak.
I would never do that.
No, and I was like, oh, like, he was so close to the snake where, like, the snake easily could have bit him.
Oh, 100%.
Easily.
100%.
I was like, okay, all right,
We would
Richard.
have had a new winner.
Anyway.
Going off of weird things, I also put that Greg just wanting to sleep in the forest alone. That's weird. Like,
yeah, it's a little creepy.
What? Why? It made no
okay?
sense why, he was wanting to do that
Yeah.
when they had a perfectly fine shelter.
Right.
But they were just like, nah, I'm gonna go sleep out in the
gonna
forest
sleep
by
by
myself on the ground.
Yeah.
With all
on
the
top
rats.
of some leaves. Okay.
I just was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, weirdo. And then
Yeah.
Colleen ended up sleeping with him too, but
Yeah.
that's another story.
Yeah, that's another episode.
Yeah. But anyway, immunity challenge
Yes.
was when basically they had to kayak. Mm-hmm. It had to one person from each tribe had to kayak, and then go out into the water and then come back and save their tribe members along the way. Kelly thought, oh, I'm gonna be so good at this challenge. I'm so comfortable in the water. This is my element. I got this. I'm gonna win.
I'm a river guy.
Yeah, no problem. I got this. And the other tribe is gonna put in Jervis because he doesn't know how to swim. So I can beat him easy.
No.
She didn't.
No.
She lost.
You lost.
She lost. Pretty embarrassing of you to lose, Kelly.
Yeah.
After being so cocky.
Right. Especially after saying all these things,
Yes.
and then,
And
at
she
least
won by a
afterwards.
lot.
Yeah, it was not, like, close.
No, Jervis was,
I
gone.
think Jervis was on the third cast member being picked up when she was just picking up the first one.
Yes, it was, like, embarrassing.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what happens when you're too cocky, Kelly. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
anything can happen. You can lose, and you did.
Yeah.
So, like, bye.
Yeah, really. So, Toggy had to go to tribal council that
Yep.
night. And for me, anyways, it was no surprise who they voted out, which was Dirk.
Dirk. Yeah.
So, goodbye, Dirk.
Sorry, dude. Unmemorable.
Yeah.
Like we said. don't really know who
Unmemorable
you
except
are.
for the Bible. That's how I'm going to remember you by.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so going into the last episode 6, last one that we watched before the merge, which they called the merger
Yeah.
before. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, don't call it the merger, it's the merge.
Yeah.
Anyway, this episode started off with, like, them kind of talking about, like, a potential merge happening, and
Because they got a clue
Yeah,
that
they
said
did.
something about
Yeah,
that.
so they were like, okay, what does this mean? Does this, we need to think about what this means because this could really affect our tribe and whatever. Susan was talking a lot of crap about the other tribe,
And the chickens all better be dead because they're going to be dead when they get here.
and I was like, you're being a little, like, too judgmental for, like, not really knowing
Yeah,
them,
for
you
literally
know?
only knowing them for the challenges.
Yeah, like, you've spent no time with them, like, no personal time with them, and you're just like...
You probably barely know their names.
Exactly, and you're like, oh,
If that.
that Jenna girl, yeah, she's gonna get really old really fast. Like, why?
Yeah, why? Tell me.
Why'd you say that? And, like, Jervis is a pervert. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Exactly.
Where's all this coming from?
Yeah.
You spent no time with the other tribe. You have no, like, right to be saying all that stuff,
Yeah.
but whatever, Susan.
Yeah. But Pagong was saying all this over their chicken and rice dinner.
Yeah.
I was watching that at home and I was like, shit, I want some chicken and
I
rice
want to
dinner
eat
now.
chicken tonight, yeah.
Which is so funny because that's literally all it was.
Chicken
and rice.
Yeah,
And that's it. But like it just looked so tasty.
It did. They cooked it really well, the
Yeah.
chicken. Yeah.
100%. I was like, okay, I could survive on that.
Yeah,
Survivor.
exactly. Exactly. Something that I want to note really quick about Jervis was that I think it's funny that he, like, knows how, like, lazy he is. But I think he's using that as, like, his strategy, I guess, because
Somehow.
Yeah, somehow I remember him saying, like, before he came to the game, he said, as long as, like, I'm, like, friendly and nice to people, I think that'll get me far in the game. Which, like, he's still in it, so I guess it's, like, working so far. But his tribe members are catching on to the fact that he's lazy and not doing anything, so that might not be good for him soon. But, I mean, at least he admits it. He's lazy,
Yeah.
but he admits it.
Well,
so,
hopefully the Pagong tribe realizes that soon.
yeah.
Over on the Toggy tribe, we have Richard, who is just walking around naked half the time.
Naked.
Which,
Butt
like,
naked.
I get it. You're on Survivor, like, it's hot and you just, like, don't want to be clothed. And, like, again, I'm sure on Survivor, a lot of the contestants have probably seen some things because,
I'm sure
you're-
at some point you'll see everybody naked.
Yeah.
You know?
But, like, I feel like it's very inconsiderate for Richard to be doing that all the time.
Yeah.
Because even though you might be comfortable with it,
Other people might
like,
not.
the rest of the cast may not be, like, comfortable with, just nudity and other
Yeah,
things
someone
like
being
that.
naked, just walking
So-
around naked, like...
I was just very, like, okay about that.
Yeah, I
But-
agree. But he's comfortable with it, so whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways, moving on to kind of their reward and immunity challenge.
Right, it was combined, yeah.
It was, they got some dog food beforehand as, like, a clue.
Which they ate.
Honestly,
Some of them ate.
I might have. It looked kind of
After
good.
cooking it.
Yes.
Cooking it, they did, which one of the tribes did.
Yes.
They cooked it, which was smart.
I
get
think I would, because
Yeah.
it kind of looked good.
It did.
Not gonna lie.
It did. I would eat it straight from the can.
I would, like, imagine, like, pulled pork.
Yeah.
Smothered in
Right.
barbecue sauce.
Yeah, even though they didn't know what was in there, just, like, use your imagination,
Mm-hmm. Because, again, Survivor's not gonna give them food that's
No.
gonna kill them.
Right,
so-
so, like, just eat
Yeah.
it. You might not like it, but you're hungry.
Yeah.
So you gotta eat it.
And then the evening, they had the actual challenge
Mm-hmm.
where they had, again, just 3 people at a time. Not the whole tribe again. Not sure why, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go into this, like, abandoned army barracks thing and
Yeah.
find one of 3 items, and they couldn't duplicate an item. Otherwise, they were disqualified and the other, team won.
Yeah.
It was an interesting challenge. I didn't particularly like it.
Mm-hmm. Me either.
Because it wasn't really, like,
like a challenge.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
However, though, I do like night challenges.
Yes.
Just not this one.
Yeah,
But night
yeah.
challenges, I think, are usually
Are
I really
pretty
enjoy
cool.
them. They're fun. They give it kind of like an eerie like aspect to it because they have like all of the torches like
Yep.
lit, so like that's your only source of light,
Yeah.
which I think is cool. I wish they would do more night challenges. But yeah, like this one in particular, not my fave. Kind of boring.
Yeah. And then,
Didn't
of
really
course,
understand it.
Richard decides to, even though he did not take the map, which
Yeah.
showed what, like, you needed.
Yes, yeah.
And his whole team was just like, do not come back with the knife. Do
No.
not come back with the knife.
said, "We need a
the
can opener." Yeah.
Can opener.
Can opener it!
And what does he do?
Comes back.
Come back with the knife.
Shocker.
So, Toggy gets eliminated, which means
Lost it
that
for his
Pagon
team.
won.
Yep.
Sending, sadly, Gervais to another week.
Yeah. He lives to see another week.
Yeah, so this time Toggy has to go to Tribal Council. Before Tribal Council, my opinion is that a lot of people are starting to turn on Joel.
Yeah.
He kind of had this, like, cockiness
He was
about him.
very cocky, yeah.
Everyone started to, like, hate him. And, like, it was just, like, ugh.
He was getting a little too cocky, and after watching many, many seasons of Survivor, aka all of them, I've come to realize that once you're, like, cocky and comfortable and you're like, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not getting voted off, I'm fine.
You're gone.
Usually that means you're gone.
Yeah.
Which
happened.
is what happened.
So-
Joel got cocky. Joel was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be fine. They can't do this without me. Blah, 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 whatever. Tribal Council comes.
He's gone.
He's out. See ya. Number one rule of Survivor, if you ever want to be on Survivor, don't get cocky.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
then you'll
never
get
say
voted
that
off.
you're safe, okay?
Never.
Never.
Ever. Never. Because then that means you're gone.
Yeah.
You're done.
Anyways, well, that was our kind of recap for pre-merger of Season 1 Survivor. Let us know in the comments below what you think, whether or not you agree with us, disagree with us, your thoughts on the different challenges, other things like that. Like and subscribe so that next week we will have the follow-up with this one, where we have the Survivor Season 1 Part 2, where we talk about post-merger and the final kind of couple of episodes and the first ever winner
The winner.
of Survivor.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.